Hey there. In this video, I'm going to walk through the process of setting up the driver's route sheet. And it's a pretty straightforward thing to do, and it shouldn't be time consuming. So for this example, I'm just going to go over and use 9.7 as the sample. And so I have it open. Generally, what I do is I use the same file. Okay, so this is the master DO route sheet. So this is 9.7 and it's complete. And over here in this folder, I have a copy of a driver sheet. This is the one that I always use because it's big. It has 19 stops on it. And since we rarely have that many, I just always use this because I like to have a file that has more stops on it than I'm actually trying to schedule. So really, all I do is I make a copy of it, change the date. When was it, the 7th? Is that what I was doing? The 7th, yeah, okay. So let me change that to the 7th. And open up the route sheet after I've copied it and changed the name. And then I just select all the text and delete it. So I leave the boxes, the stops, little template there, but I delete all the data out of all of the boxes. So you can see there's still, the boxes are still there. Okay, and then I just go through and I just add each stop. Okay. So I probably won't go through and show you every one of these, but yeah, you just have to put them in order. All right. Just copy and paste them in. They should always fit right in. The only thing that might have to change is that you might need to make some of the rows a little bit bigger depending on what's in the notes field. Trying to find D, I think I probably just went right past it. There it is. Okay. Copy, paste. All right. Back up to the top here. There's E right there. Copy, paste. All right. Where is F? There's an add on here. Okay, yeah, because this is an old copy of the route, the DO route sheet. Okay. Where is F? What was this? There's F. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'm going to fill the rest of these in. I don't think you need to see me fill them all in. Okay, so I actually didn't add the last one on here because I ran out of spaces. I think for my little file that I copy, the route file has 19 slots, so there must be 20 on the route for last Friday. So I wanted to show you this part. What we try to do, well, not what we try to do, what we do is we keep 4 entries per page. So if you go over to the print preview, you can see how it looks. This is the first page. So we always want 4 entries on one page. So when we have to add a slot, what we have to do is we kind of have to see where we need to put it. In this case, this page already has 3 entries. This is the last page, and I need to add one more. So what I do is I just copy all the rows, including the spacer row, so I can add that in. Try to keep the same amount of space in between each box. So I'm always copying and pasting that row. All right, so let me grab that last one, paste it on there, and yes. Okay, so I've added all of the entries from Friday on the DO sheet to the new copy of the driver route sheet. So the next step is that you have to go into print preview and click on page setup. We have to change the date reference right here. So we're going to go to headers, footer tab, custom header, and then change the date. You want to keep it in the same format, just like that. All right. And you can see it pretty much updates immediately, and we always have Dave over here in the left corner, the current date in the middle, and page numbers in the right corner. And again, there's 4 entries per page, and there's 5 pages, so there should be 20 entries on here. So I'm going to cycle through the pages, and this is what you'll need to do. Everybody's print preview might be a little bit different, so in the end, the best thing that you can do is to make it fit on your printer. So it may or may not look exactly the same when Dave gets it, but I don't think it'll be too far off. So that's what I do. I just cycle through. I'm also looking at all the notes fields. Let me go back to page 1. I'm looking to see if there's any notes that aren't quite fitting in that box. And I'm checking that there are 4 entries per page. So page 2 looks good. Page 3 looks good. Page 4 looks good. And page 5 looks good. Okay, so none of the notes fields are very big. And we change the date, so we can leave print preview. And of course, if you needed to, which you probably already do on the route sheet, if you wanted to, let me go back up to page 4 and do this. Let's just pick one. If you needed to change the width, what I like to do is I just, let me just add, let's just add a bunch of stuff in here, make it super big so it doesn't fit. So I like just to grab all 3 rows that the notes fields are on, and then I just expand the height for them all. Oops, gotta go the other way. Do it little by little, just to kind of make sure I get it to fit. Okay, and then if you had to do that after you check the print preview, then you have to go back in and check the print preview again. Let's see if this actually messed up. I was on page 4. Okay, so it didn't really mess anything up. It did kind of push. I guess it doesn't really matter where the entry starts. You notice how B is right here, and on the second page it's about the same place, but the third page it drops down a little bit, and on the fourth page it drops down a little bit more. It's not a big deal. Had my changes pushed this down, and it was the bottom row was showing up on page 6, then you'd have to go in and insert. Let's see if I can actually show you that. You might know this already, but just in case, I'm just going to go ahead and increase the size of this one. And let's take a peek and see if that did it. Yeah, see how that pushed? It pushed that little bottom part of the last entry over to page 5. So we don't like that, so what we got to do is go back and fix it. So go up to the beginning of page 4. Let's see, I lost my place here. It's page 5. Okay, it's page 4. And we would just delete out 1 or 2 rows to bring this back up. Let me just try 2 rows here. Okay, and you can see you should have lines on your screen after you go into print preview. The lines should show up on the regular Excel view to where the pages are. Okay, so I deleted 2 rows and it brought this back up to the top. So let me go back into print preview to page 3, page 4, page 5. Yep, so that fixed it. So anyways, that's just sort of an example. Once in a while I have to do that. I have to go in and adjust. But for the most part, all I'm doing is copying and pasting. So I suggest that you keep maybe a template file of a route, like this is called Route Dave Sheet. We always use the same file name, except we just changed the date. I would suggest you keep one that is pretty big, and you can just use it over and over. Now, had there been, let's say that I had copied the route, one last thing I wanted to show you here. If I had copied over all the stops from the current day over to the route to driver route sheet, and there were blanks. Let's just say these were blanks. So there were only 18 instead of 20. You don't want to leave these blank spaces, right? So you just would come in here and just select those rows and delete those rows. Take out the blank rows. So sometimes you might have to add in another box, and other times you'll have to delete blank boxes. Just depends on how many stops there are on the route. Since I'm using a template driver route sheet that has 19 stops on it, most of the time I'm actually deleting boxes off like I just showed you, because again, we rarely have that many. Okay, if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.